Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the Fosi Audio SK02. So that is this fellow right here. So if you're used to maybe portable DAC amps, which tend to be wider and flatter, this one I would call it taller and maybe narrower. More of a rectangle than your typical like hip DAC style, which is just a wide flat slab. This one definitely has some height to it. It's got some, this is all aluminum, so it's got some heft to it. It's a really nice build quality. It's got a gigantic volume knob. It's got lights for bitrate and DSD. I'm not sure how many people actually use DSD who are going to be purchasing this, but it's kind of cool that they put the lights there and you can make them light up if you go download some DSDs to your machine. But you also do get I think that's a signal meter, power, high-low for gain, which you kind of adjust with that button, and switching between the inputs, which is optical and USB, you use this button. So the inputs are actually on this side, so we have a USB in on USB-C. You also do have an optical in, and the AUX out is actually a cool one. You can use a normal 3.5 millimeter connection for aux out, or it can use an optical. So that's something interesting that you don't see every day. So on the back side, on the headphone outs, you do get a 3.5 millimeter and a 4.4 balanced out. So cool little box. It'll sit on your desk, and you have nice control over your volume with the gigantic knob. But let's kind of jump into it. And how would I characterize it? I think they call it a desktop DAC amp. I would say it's somewhere between a dongle and a portable with a desktop chassis. It sounds more like a dongle. It has a lot of the inputs that you would want on a desktop amp and maybe a portable, but sound-wise, I think it leans more towards, and price-wise, I think it actually leans more towards a dongle. Specs, and probably why you were interested in purchasing it, it does have a nice ESS 9038 Q2M DAC. It does use SG Micro op amps, and I think that combo again is more like a dongle. The power rating, so on low gain you get 90 and 350 on the single-ended and balanced. On high gain you get 280 and 1100, so that is definitely more in the portable range. If those are numbers that check out, I think that'll put you in the portable range. Not too many dongles are going to ever hit 1100 milliwatts. And the inputs are definitely more like a desktop, like I talked about. USB and optical is something that you would want on your desktop DAC amp. AUX, normal and optical is actually quite handy as well. I don't know. I've never actually tried the optical out on AUX the way they did it, but there's probably some use for it. Aluminum chassis, volume knob, overall just a really nice starter DAC amp that has everything you need to get started in one box. I think they nailed that little bit, plus at a price that people can afford it. I think this one is about $70 and it's only on Kickstarter at the moment. So where does it fit kind of in the scheme of things? I think the sound is definitely more like a dongle with more power. Even with a nice ESS DAC that's in this guy, it's not quite at the portable level of sound quality. As I said, you're probably buying it mostly because it's an all-in-one box with a nice build, nice inputs, enough power for all of your IEMs. I think that's the attractive value proposition here. And the price also puts it at the same level, and I think they got all of that all right. So if you're considering it against other desktop DAC amps, I don't think it really fits there. It's sort of this in-between model like I talked about. If you are used to hearing dongles, I think this one, sound quality-wise, will put you right in the same ballpark as your dongles, but you get it in a desktop form factor, more power, more inputs. So sort of an extended version of a dongle, or a dongle with a chassis, something like that. It's sort of an in-between thing, but I don't think it necessarily competes at the level of desktops or even portables, but you have kind of the dongle innards with expansion and connection options that you would find on a portable, and I think that's about where it fits in. So when I talk about ESS generalizations, having more of an analytical or less musical or not as warm sound, I think they really try to give it a house sound. Perhaps this is the only Fosi device I've actually heard, so I don't know if they have a house sound, but they definitely tried to move it away from ESS typical. So I wouldn't say this one is at all analytical, or it's probably a little bit more musical and it has a little bit of warmth to it. And I think that really works. Moving away from that tended to work as a starter all in one box to get kind of an affordable, nice sounding DAC amp. But you don't hear, but it didn't really lean into what ESS is known for, the precision and the accuracy and the extension. And that's probably going to be the biggest reason for some to buy it, is because you have an ESS, but doesn't take on some of the things that people don't like about ESSs. They sort of bridge the gap between what ESSs can do and why some people like them. I like ESS for its precision and accuracy and all those bits, but if you wanted an ESS chip, but not necessarily some of those things that came along with it, I think Fosi sort of hit that middle ground between the two. So that is what I got on the SK02. So do check that one out on Kickstarter. And thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.